All right, guys, welcome to the next lighting look. We are gonna work on side lights. So we just came out of a Rembrandt light look, still got fill light on. I've got my key source over here lighting up the subject. And then I've got my Lico splashing on the back. Lico light to splash on the back to again separate our subject, make a bit more of a visually interesting image. We've got the practical on here. The practical again helps create and sell this reality. It helps make it feel more motivated and realistic because we now got a light within our frame. So it makes all of this light and this room and space make a lot more sense. Now additionally, if we go to the B cam look, it's not on A cam, but if we're looking at the B cam look, we have a light source in the back as well. Again, helping be motivated, helping sell this idea, making sense of our environment, how we have this light, how we're able to see our subject. However, when we're going for side light is an extremely dramatic look. I'm typically using this with short films, narrative-based pieces, so sometimes with documentaries, but again, it's gotta be about like a very dark or very serious subject matter. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna turn this fill light off. Bam. So already immediately getting more shadow and more interest. Now additionally, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pull this light down. All right, and I'm actually almost gonna get it like, almost, if you will, like head or eye level with our talent. I have a slight angle, as you can see here, maybe like a 15 to 20 degree angle. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rotate this over. Bam. All the way to the side. And now some people will leave it on the side like this. So as you can see, again, we're hitting David on the side in the front, as well as the back. So it's kind of almost acting as a little bit of a hair light for us, right? We've got 2 in 1 here. It's almost acting as our key source and a bit of a hair source. But for me, again, when I'm using side light, I really want that drama. And so a cool little hack you can do is you can have it be like a side light, but what I love to do is I love to cheat the softbox. So I'm gonna cheat the softbox forward as much as possible. So I'm just barely hitting the very edge of the back of David here. And what that's gonna do, again, is gonna prevent less spill into my space. So this key light, as you can see right here, if I move it, you can see how it's lighting up and changing the back wall. I'm getting spill. And that's one of the beautiful things about side light, is you can really prevent or stop that spill from happening. So I'm gonna push this and just create a little more of an angle here. Bam, something like that. And now because I'm more off from my source and my subject, I'm shooting almost off this way. So I'm really just hitting him from this corner spot of the light. Again, that's really due in part to the honeycomb grid. An option is I could take the honeycomb grid off, but that defeats the purpose of what I'm doing right here, right? It's gonna create more spill. So instead, what I can do is I can power this boy up just a little bit stronger. So I was about 25%, and now I'm going to about 35. And we'll settle right on 35% here. All right, let me jump to the monitor and take a look. If you can look ahead for me, David, please. Again, I'm jumping into my false color. So getting my readings here of false color. And so if you just take a look, and we look at the numerical values right now, our key light source, right? So where David is getting hit is marked in brown, 43. So we're low right now. This is not ideal. If we were in red, that would mean we are peaking, we are way too hot. Anything in red, we're losing it. Yellow, we're very close to losing it. That's like our warning sign, almost like thinking red, green, yellow, right? Just like a stoplight. Yellow is your warning sign. You're about to peak and break out. Green, you're okay, but ideally, you really want to sit kind of in this mid-green gray area. And now every false color is gonna be a little bit different. Some cameras set it up differently. So the false color I would see here on this monitor, well, actually, let's just go look at it right now. So I'm gonna put false color on this camera right here. And as you can see, it's utilizing different colors. So it is important to understand your camera and the components within it, which again, we will get later into in this course. But just touching on false color a little bit there for you guys, again, it's a really, really important feature to know, understand, and use. It's gonna really help you out as a cinematographer. So again, here, I'm looking at my monitor and it looks like a great image. You know, David's looking forward for me. It looks really nice. Right now, I wouldn't personally maybe think that it's underexposed, but that's the beauty of false colors. It tells me it is. And so I know I need to go up in my bite. My key light needs to be stronger. So I'm going to power this more, pan it over a little more, just to hit David a little more. And we'll take another look at the false color. So now we look like we're hitting David a bit more. I'm gonna have to cheat that source back. The key light is in our frame just a little bit. You can see it hitting within there. But now we've got a much better image. We're more where we want to be. We've got 78. As you can see, we're hitting right along there, getting all that nice gray on our key side. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna pull this back a little bit. And we've got a really nice side light. Now, additionally, if you were concerned about maybe some spill, so another option, and this is me just being a little bit of extra, I could take a flag and I could just walk it all the way back here. And again, guys, this is me being super extra. This is really unnecessary in a lot of ways because this really isn't adding that much light into this environment. But if I did want to just control it as much as possible and again, block this out so we're having really, really moody setup, I could do so. And again, that is a black flag and floppy, really, really useful for again, shaping and controlling your light. And so again, lastly, just touching on key components with side light. Side light you are putting at a 180-degree angle. It is directly to the side of your subject. Again, what I like to do is slightly cheat the source, pushing it forward. That gives me a more dramatic look. I get less spill on the background, but I'm still able to use this as a key light and a bit of like a hair or rim light or kicker, if you will. And that's kind of my cheat codes and my main ways I utilize side light. Now, in what scenarios and settings, again, I'm using this for a very dramatic look, typically in narrative-based work, so short films or documentaries. And again, it's gotta be suspense, drama, or thriller. Like this is not something where we're talking about a fun and bubbly subject matter or trying to sell perfume, right? Like this doesn't fit. So always be intentional, guys. And now we're gonna move on from this lighting setup to our next look.